Ladies and gentlemen, it is 6 o'clock. We'll call our meeting to order. I'd ask Council Dennis Nance if you'll lead us in prayer and pledge allegiance.
Our heads. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this day that you've given us. Lord, I ask that you be with us today as we make decisions and be about your business. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Seats. Roll call, please.
John Ketcher.
Here.
Joey Shropshire.
Here.
Dennis Nance.
Here.
Steve Smith.
Here.
Randy Chiplett.
Here.
Brianna Brakefield.
Here.
Jimmy Trammell.
Here.
Yolanda Thompson.
Here.
Thank you. Item 2, petitions for the audience. I'd like to introduce Pastor Dan Hazelton. You'll come to the microphone.
Hi, I'm here tonight representing Impact Pryor and Pray for the City. I came and talked to you guys about a month ago, and we've spent a month praying for different areas of our city, so we appreciate being able to do that. We believe that prayer makes a difference, whether you're praying at home, or you're praying with a group somewhere inside of a church or a house, or if you go out in the community and do it. You guys know that this Thursday is the National Day of Prayer, and we are having a prayer dinner at the Graham Center, and each of you are invited. I have some actually little handwritten invitations for you. So
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I'm a little short on them.
And one of the ladies that's helping me out with putting it together, let me know, Randy, I guess you're already signed up for it. So I have these handwritten invitations, but I don't have them for all of you. So any of you that work with the city, we care about what you do. We really appreciate what you do. If you're able to be there as a representative of the city, we'd love to have you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor.
Steak?
Yes.
All right, we'll move to item number 3, department head reports. Building inspector. Recognize Mr. Kenny Young.
Last month, Cheryl had sold 43 permits. I'm sorry, I don't have the dollar amount. I forgot to get that from her today. It's been kind of busy. Inspections are starting to pick back up. I'm sure you've noticed across throughout the town with Come and Go and RCB. So those are getting ready to get started. And I believe that we've had 4 new houses get started since last month this time. So everything's going. Have some more people bringing in some more plans and stuff for us to look at and everything. So, and Steve's done a few inspections on some commercial stuff. So, do y'all have any questions for me? Okay, thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, Kenny. Item B, emergency management. There's no report tonight. Item C, fire department. Recognize Chief B.K. Young.
I don't really have anything for y'all right now, but the library gave us a deck of playing cards with a picture, I guess, when some of the guys were over there at the library, so. Maybe they still think we'll be pretty cool to be across the street. We're getting some dirt work done over there, so as long as we keep them happy. Like I said, they're already giving us gifts.
Which card were you?
Hopefully it's not like the cards they had.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's all that picture right there.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. No, we're excited. I think library's excited and stuff like that. They opened some bids today, and I think they're gonna get back with the mayor on how that all went, but we're all pumped and excited to go.
Were y'all on standby for water rescue over the last day?
No, we fared pretty good through all this. Matter of fact, we had guys this weekend in the Swiftwater. Some of the new pups or the new guys were in training this weekend for Swiftwater, and then I think in 2 weeks we got Swiftwater 2 training, which we'll have about 6 guys in. But no, we lucked out. The boats were ready to go. The gear was all setting out there, but now the guys will have cards to play some field and all that stuff with. So we got something to do while we're standing by.
Very good. Sounds good. Any questions? Thanks, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Golf course? No report? Library? Ms. Carrie Rarick. Welcome.
Not much to report from the library except that this week we are having our first in-person program since the coronavirus pandemic started. It's going to be outside in our west lawn, so on the youth services side of the building, and it's an introduction to gardening with master gardener Annie Early at 6:30. Should be fun. Bring a lawn chair, and then if you like that one, or if you like butterflies, next week on the 13th, we'll have another program, same time, same place.
Excellent.
You guys have any questions for me?
What day was that? For this week?
Thursday? Yeah.
This coming,
Yeah.
6th?
Yeah.
this coming Thursday on the 6th, and then next week on the 13th.
Yeah. This Thursday, next Thursday.
Yeah, very good.
So, okay, thanks.
Thank you. Park Cemetery, Mr. Frank Powell.
Don't really have too much. We're busy trying to get ready, cemetery ready for Memorial Day. Bathrooms are on schedule. Plan on opening the splash pad. It's the 14th, it's a week from Friday. So, other than that, they ran the test at the pool, and then we'll go to the park board next week, the special meeting, and decide from there. And other than that, I'm staying busy.
Will we be getting a copy of the test results, Mr. Mayor, on the pool and about the
Yes,
filters and all that other stuff? Because I'm just curious about lifeguards. It's getting real late in the season again.
it is late in the season, and there will
You've
be,
got lifeguards, and I don't know where Jessica is on her lifeguards, and I know the sand filters, that's gonna be an issue also, I would think, because they've been down for a couple of years,
that is correct.
you know, and so we may need to, you know.
What we're
we have-
wanting to do is present a complete report to Park Board, and they'll send a recommendation to council on the 18th.
We'll bring that up in another item in a minute, I hope.
But other than that, just staying busy, so fighting the usual May rains.
Yep.
So,
Thank you very much, Frank.
thanks.
Police Department? Chief Nichols?
I don't really have anything tonight, Mayor, unless y'all have any questions other than, did want to let you know that Claymart donated some additional animal treats to the shelter again, and that's twice now in the last couple of months, and we sure appreciate that extra there. And our stats will be in the packet for your next council meeting for you to review ahead of time. So I'm here if you have any questions other than that. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Recreation Center? Recognize Ms. Jessica Long.
Just a couple things I'm gonna share tomorrow night at the rec board meeting. We had 118 new members last month, which is the most I've seen since I've been there. And with this new software, we're able to start looking at some different reports. And so I was able to pull up for the month of April kind of an average weekly attendance, and we're getting around 6,300 visits a week to the rec center. So we're seeing a lot of people coming through the doors, which is great. So we're going to talk tomorrow night about, maybe releasing our COVID restrictions that we have, since things are kind of getting back to normal a little bit. And but we're seeing a lot of people come through the door, which is exciting.
So the doors open at what time?
5 a.m.
And they close at?
10 p.m. Monday through
There we are.
Thursday. So, yes. So we've got a lot of people. And then the sign is in. It'll be installed next week. And then talk to Steve as well about the awning or the canopy, and those plans have started on that. But that'll probably be mid-July, I think is what he said, by the time everything gets completed on that project. So, any questions about anything else?
Thank you very much. Street Department? Mr. Buddy Glenn? Wearing the colors.
Boomer.
Yeah, you're not paying attention to me, so.
I would say something, but I,
Yeah, let's be nice today.
yeah, right, since when?
Not a whole lot to report. Like I said, I know we've had some rainy weather. But we have been out dipping ditches. Don't know if you noticed, we got all new right turn on red after stop signs put up. We got all the new name street signs put up downtown. I know they was getting bad, and And I didn't, when I first started ordering them, I didn't realize they were that big. So I had to reorder, but we was able to use them back on just on regular streets. But, we do have those put up, so you can be able to see those. Just not a whole lot. Was working at Bobby Buck, we got part of the parking area over there done. As soon as it quits raining, gives us a break, then we've got the handicap parking over there that we've got to finish up on. But again, we got to get a break in the rain. That's holding up on some of our sidewalks and stuff like that. But a couple more weeks, we're probably wishing we had some more rain. We're getting 100-degree weather. But other than that, that's about it. I'll go on maintenance and clean up around the shop. It looks good down there. So
With some of the demolition going on around town, does that compromise streets in those locations?
Not so much. I know we've got, like over on Lincoln School, I guess we didn't notice that, but they broke part of a sidewalk that we've got to repair over there. After school, we got a section of sidewalk that like I said, I just forgot about. But other than that, I mean, most of the damage, I guess you'd say, if there was anything, it was on the highway, but we're still having to try to fix some of those, because I know the states, they're scattered out everywhere, so.
No, we've got some demolition there at RCB Bank, there on Van Street.
Yes.
And First Priority Bank, there'll be a demolition going on there. They're right on Graham Avenue, and that won't be until June, but
Yeah, the major
we'll probably have some opportunities.
Yeah, they're on the highway. I don't know if the state's got any plans for that, or if that's something that's gonna have to fall back on us, but we're gonna have to do something for the new entrance which goes in. I think it's a priority one right across the street. Because when they've done all the concrete, the street is actually lower. I mean, it was kind of a rough area to begin with, but then with all the construction, everything goes off. I mean, y'all can tell that it holds water there now.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's something that we're gonna have to contend with later on, or state or something. Something's gonna have to be done, because there's a lot of places on Main Street that's starting to fall in that it's really not our obligation, but we've been trying to maintain it for a little while, so.
Very good.
But other than that, no calls, complaints yet, so. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Move to item 4, Mayor's Report. Recognize and present proclamation for Kids to Parks Day on May 15, 2021. Is there anybody here representing that organization? I'd like to read this proclamation. Kids to Parks Day by the National Park Trust. Proclamation proclaiming May 15, 2021 as Kids to Parks Day in the city of Pryor Creek, Oklahoma. Whereas May 15, 2021 is the 11th Kids to Parks Day organized and launched by the National Park Trust, held annually on the third Saturday of May. And whereas Kids to Parks Day empowers kids and encourages families to get outdoors and visit local parks, public lands, and waters. And whereas we should encourage children to lead a more active lifestyle to combat issues of childhood obesity, diabetes, hypertension, hypercholesterolemia. I think I said that right. And whereas Kids to Parks Day will broaden children's appreciation for nature and outdoors. And whereas Kids to Parks Day will recognize the importance of recreating responsibly while enjoying the benefits of the outdoors. And now, therefore, I, Larry Lees, Mayor of Pryor Creek, Oklahoma, do hereby proclaim May 15, 2021 as Kids to Parks Day, this 4th day of May, 2021. All right. Very good. Item B, CARES reimbursement account report with discussion. Discussion items to include the amount of fund balance, prioritizing expenditure pathways of the funds. I asked Mr. Ritchie to do an opinion to memorialize that, and you have that in front of you. I'd like to read that. As with most things related to COVID crisis, the CARES Act funding received by the cities in Oklahoma presented a very unique situation. Bottom line, on my opinion, is that the monies the city set aside represent one-time surplus revenues originating from the federal government COVID-19 relief program, which cover the expenditure of the city for public safety, public health, healthcare, human services, and similar employees of the city. Thus, the surplus funds resulting to the city may be spent on whatever needs the city deems to use them to pay. The funds are not restricted to use. There are other paragraphs, but I wanted to read that in front of council, in front of the public, to clear up any questions there might be in that regard.
This is the current one we're spending in line items, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
I think it's been handled, it's, by the way it's set up, it's been handled according to the way it's set up, so.
We established some guidelines. We followed the guidelines to date. The amount of that fund balance continues to be depleted as I continue to approve expenditures that are directly COVID related. And so the fund balance that I reported last month, that has diminished by about $26,000 to date. We also have been discussing how we might spend monies from that fund. Is there any more discussion on item B? All right. Item C, discussion possible action regarding removing from the table item C from Mayor's report on April 20, 2021. Is there a motion?
Motion. Second.
Motion Ketcher, second Smith. We'll remove from the table, which is item D in this agenda. Discussion of possible action regarding spending the remainder of the CARES Act relief funds toward remedy of the Salt Branch Creek seasonal flooding. Is there a motion?
Motion.
We need to vote on that other one first.
Yeah.
Oh, we need to vote on taking it off the table. My bad. There's the motion then to take it off the table. Call for vote.
Ketcher,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Nance,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Brakefield,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Thank you, Council Smith. Item D, discussion possible action regarding spending the remainder of the CARES Act relief funds toward remedy of the Salt Branch Creek seasonal flooding. Is there a motion?
Second.
Second.
Motion Ketcher, second Nance. Thank you. Discussion.
Yes, I'm gonna bring up the same item, same suggestion I did at the last council meeting. And I've got some documentation here. I think that money, I think Kim said it correct in his letter here, it's a one-time, I think I forget the wording, it says one-time. This is this money is a one-time shot in the arm basically for the city of Pryor, and it amounted to about $722,000. So I think that, I think it needs its own special account and its own special line item. And the reason why I say that is because if you look, and I've got March's, and I have March's balance sheet right here. And if you take March's balance sheet, that $722,000 is included and is part of the fund balance, okay? So I think if you took the $722,000 out of our, and I've got a and I'm gonna make sure if Kim will let me just pass this out, okay, before I do it. Because if you take the $722,000 out of and move it over to another line item, and you take those expenses out, which you'd have to do the same thing, instead of in March's revenues exceeding their expenditures of $602,000, okay, $602,748, we have a negative balance of $16,010.61. That alarms me because, as we know, and that also reduces our fund balance below what it was to begin with. And that's what alarms me. So what I'm suggesting, I'm gonna make a motion to table this send it to Budget Committee to review this with Ron Coker, the numbers. I have no problems if that's where we want to spend the money. But I think that we need to make sure that we're putting in the right spot. If it's one-time shot in arm, it shouldn't be included in our revenue for next year. We all know, most of us been here, you take your revenue plus your fund, your total revenue plus your fund balance. Now, it's in there, and it could be put in there. So you put the $733,000 in there, which is in there now, it won't be there next year. To me, it's like buying a car and co-signing for a car. So that's one-time fix, and you won't be able to pay for it. So I think, in my own personal opinion, and it's just whatever it is, I think currently today our fund balance as of March is $3,164,006.42, not 3,782 as stated in our March report. But I think that needs to come out. And I think we're inflating our fund balance by doing that. So I'd like to make a motion to table this, send this back to, and bring it back, but send this back to the Budget Committee to go to Ron Coker or whatever to look at. I have no problems with going to Salt Branch, wherever this thing goes, that's where we want to put it. And I think it can go there, but I think that that's what the purpose of these funds are. Okay, but I still think, and so I think we need to really look at this thing, because you project this out with our fund balance, you know, our budget will be flat, if anything, next year. And is that bad? I don't know. You know, it depends what we want. But that's, and I'll give everybody a copy of this sheet that I've got right here, but I think the key is take the $722,000 out of our revenues, take the 104 like it shows out of our expenses, and you all can do the math just like I did, and you can see where we're at. And I think that needs to come out, because that gives us a true reflection of next year's budget. Because I think we're inflating next year's budget by leaving what we're in here now. This is not saying anything the way it is, and I brought that up at the last council meeting. And so then I went to Larry the other day and I asked him about the detailed ledger. He gave me a detailed ledger of what we spent. And so I just looked at this thing right here to make sure. Again, I think it needs to be reviewed, because I don't think we're sitting here with a $602,000 revenue over expenditures as of April the 4th, when I had this report, this March report. I think we're $16,000 in the hole. Now, that's not scary to me, because we have a fund balance, we got an unallocated reserve, and we got, as everybody knows, at the end of the year, we got some more money when MUB gives us extra money. So don't be alarmed that we're going in the hole, we're going broke, and stuff like that. I just think this is to shore up, to make sure that we give a good, solid budget, and for the Budget Committee to understand what this is. And so, again, I make a motion to table this item to be reviewed by the Budget Committee, possibly put this into a special account and move the expenses to special account. And I don't care, and it doesn't have to be the next council meeting. I don't know if you can I think we've got issues with Mr. Coker over there. And we've got plenty of time to spend this money, am I correct? It's not something that has to be spent this year. Well, that's what I'm saying, but I think it's important that we get this done before we do our budget. So that's where we're at with this thing. So that's where I'm at with this. So I'm making that as a motion to do that and go that way. So my motion is to table it, send it to the Budget Committee for review, have the city and the auditor look at it, and then bring it back to council for approval or whatever. But to move it out, to possibly move it out to where it belongs.
So there's more to your motion than just tabling. So your motion is to table. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Motion to table is seconded. Thank you for the motion. The other discussion, there's quite a bit of discussion there. And
I've got this right here. If anybody wants a copy of what I've done, I'll be glad to hand everybody a copy. I didn't know if the city attorney, because basically it's a budget item, it has to do with fund balance, and I didn't know if you,
You got a motion to table and a second, so.
yeah.
so we will call for vote.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Nance,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Breakfield,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Pitcher.
No.
Motion carries. All right. Item E, discussion regarding disposition of the future of the Castle Theater, Pryor Youth Organization, PYO. We are open for discussion.
You need to make a motion?
it's just as good.
We don't, do we need a motion to discuss? No, we don't. Just discussion. So, motion, so there's, this is open for discussion. We've had a few weeks to think about this. These are elected officials behind the desk, and we have responsibility regarding the property that the citizens own.
I'll start off. Whenever I was on the council, and Mr. Stott was on the council, Mr. Stott was on the council, we reviewed this as when the roof first became an issue. And there was an issue that where, and I don't remember the particulars, and Drew may remember, when we went out for bid for the roof for the first time, okay? And it came back, and the council voted no to fix the roof. And you remember when that was, Drew? You know?
I don't remember what year, I
But-
do remember.
But it was on a,
Long yes vote for.
you know, yeah, but it was a Scrivener's error. The contractor had a Scrivener's error in it. I don't know if Mr. Ritchie was here at that point in time. There was a Scrivener's error in that.
I was here, but I don't remember.
But it was a Scrivener, and so what the contractor, the guy that bid it, left the one out from in front of his bid. Instead of instead of 14,000 or whatever it was, he bid 4,000 or 7,000. He agreed to honor that bid. Okay, Mr. Powell may remember this better than. I have no recall. Okay, but that's what he did. You go back and look at it and see. No, I'm not.
No, I don't know that
But
those
it,
were the
but,
amount.
but it's how. Well, it might have been 80,000, but he made.
Council Trammell, I've tried to dig up any information I could find.
I'll find it for you. But anyway, it was a Scrivener's error, whoever bid it. And if you go back and look at the bid package on it. And so so he agreed to do it at the lesser cost, but the council voted no. Drew was the only one there. Since then, it's just got continually worse. We've had people come in and we've had engineers come in and look at the structure, structurally sound. We even had a gentleman come in and rent a lift, did a compound fracture break. Remember about compound fracture break, working on it. He was an engineer working in it. He fell off the lift and a compound fracture. The fire department come in there, if I recall. So we've had some issues with this thing. It's in bad shape. We all know it's in bad shape. Parking's one issue, water's the other issue. The other thing is, if you go back, ODOT, I wanted it at one time, you know how I am, I was just gonna do it. I was just gonna say, to heck with ODOT, because ODOT was, and create parking on the front. ODOT said, no, we won't give you more funding. So I didn't do that. So this thing has been there for a long time. If you've been in it lately, it's in bad shape. I hate to see it, and so, and then the other side of this coin was, whenever we went out for the bond, sales tax, the people did vote as part of the bond package. And that was on part of the bond package down there toward the bottom.
It is listed as one of the
That's what I'm saying, one of the non-exclusive items.
That's correct.
But it was listed as that. So my point is, I just tell you what it is. It's in bad shape. Jim Graber at one time had a gentleman that was willing to take care of when you go up the stairwell, there's, I don't know if there's mold or asbestos, but there's right there. Jim Graber had somebody that was willing to come in and clean that up when he looked at it. So, there's some issues. You haven't been in it, don't go, because it's in bad shape. There's some real neat architectural things, but everything has a shelf life, including myself, okay?
In your packet, I'm sorry to interrupt you, in your packet, I put as much history as I could find.
Yeah.
In the packet. There was a task force that was formed in 2017 and 2018. Sean Pendley came and made a presentation to council at that time, and there were some numbers that were estimating numbers, $500-some thousand to bring it into shape. There was a plan at that time. There was also a bunch of names that were put down on a document, and there were 474 names that were placed on that document. That document, they were not all voting age people, but a lot of them were students. The point is that there's There are varying opinions in our town about the Castle Theater, about what should be done with the Castle Theater. I'll tell you a story from my experience that we got a utility bill, a $500 water bill, and it had Castle Theater's name on it. And I looked at that and I thought, holy cow, what is going on with that? That meter should have been turned off. Well, it probably was turned off. Whether it was turned on by somebody, I don't know. But I sent our maintenance man over to Castle Theater, and he went in and he turned the water off. And the place is got water standing on the floor. It's got black mold all over it. It is a breeding ground for all manner of vermin and critters. It is a health hazard. If that went before an abatement hearing in our town, then I'm afraid that wouldn't be very pretty. The point is that we're at the point where we need to do something with property that we own. And that property, there are people looking at that property to purchase. There are people who would like to take it to the ground. There are people who would like to try to save it and would like to make it operational. It has no parking. There are things that could be done with that property, with that structure. It could be turned into city offices. It could be turned into, there are many things that could be done. The fact of the matter is that it's a historic building. It is in jeopardy, and this body has responsibility to decide what the disposition of the thing would be. I'm not saying we need to make that decision tonight. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to elicit discussion, healthy discussion about it, and we need to try to do the right thing for the citizens, whatever that is. So that's my that's my challenge to council in that regard. I know that there have been several people who have looked at that corner to want to purchase that corner. There's somebody looking at that corner this week. That's not what's stimulating me to come and try to have the discussion. I want to do the right thing with the property.
Can I interject something here?
Please.
Council Trammell, when you were mayor, did we not try to get this on the historical?
But
Did that get accomplished?
it is on we tried to get it on the national historic, and it failed. Then it went to this historical deal that the group put together where you submit an application. It's not national. This is a different organization. Then the body comes over and reviews it. It's really not a national organization. It's just a historical. And it was done that way possibly for grant money. There's different types of historical.
So we're still.
Council
still
Tram,
able to
you're
do-
talking about Preservation Oklahoma.
Yes, that's totally different than the National Historical Society. Like Miami's Theater was National Historical Society. That's totally Coleman Theater's down there. What this is, and you submit an application, they come out and review it. So anybody can. The chamber building would be classified that. The other one would be classified. You could get done is the clay over there by where Margaret is. It's that clay brick building where
Well, my point is so the classification that it is, we can still do.
yes, we do what we want to with it because it's not.
Oh, sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
yes.
We should determine what we want to do with it. And the options are a few, but right now, presently,
Yeah.
it is a health hazard.
Yep.
Okay, and so I cannot speak that loudly enough, is that it is a health hazard. So I intend to appropriate funds to mitigate a health hazard, whatever that might be.
If we do decide to, if we do decide to destroy it though, I would encourage us, the original sign to Castle Theater is up in the top corner of the building. That's the original sign that was there, that they boarded over when the tornado come through. It's up there in that top corner up there, all right? It's up there. There's some artifacts, and when you walk in there, some bricks and stuff. I think it's some animals and stuff like that's made out of the bricks, somebody, you know, and if there's things like that, we need to try to preserve if we do, because those things you'll never replace. So I think there's some things in there, and that's just in the top and in the front, right? There's some things in there we need to look at preserving. But I would like to say that, so I'll hush for a minute.
Very good. Other discussion?
I think we missed the opportunity to restore this building when it's obviously no secret the Larimores, you know, were interested in purchasing it and bringing it back. I mean, they had the funding, they had the means to do it, and some didn't want to. So I think this was when you were on council, Jimmy, you were mayor. I think we missed the opportunity to revitalize this building because they would have done it, and you know, down the road probably had the opportunity, you know, would have given us the opportunity to donate it back to the city, but I think we missed the opportunity to revitalize this building.
Mr. Stott, you have comments? Please come to the microphone.
I think Drew wants to buy it now.
No.
Hey, just
Well,
give you the option.
You know, I made me a few notes. This has been a topic for a long time. When I was on the council, I don't know, 5 years ago or 6 years ago, I don't remember. I remember we went out for bid, or we voted to go out for bid and guesstimating it was gonna be about $100,000 to fix the roof. Seemed like it was unanimous that we, with that in mind, that we went out for bid. Then it came back less than that. I think it was around 85 or 90,000, and I was the lone yes vote for once. Usually I was the lone no vote, but I was the only one that said, yeah, let's put a roof on it, at least to save further damage. I feel like at the very minimum you ought to do that. It's a historical building. It'd be a shame to tear it down, and there's no telling what it'd cost to tear it down. That money that you spend on tearing it down can go towards saving it. Now, some of these figures, the 500,000 or whatever, that was the first I've heard of that. But
That's outdated anyways.
yeah, but a lot of that is, of course, anytime you get an engineer involved that's working off commission of what the project is, naturally they're gonna run the project up. And if that's fixing it all, you know, I think came up the upstairs, whether they could even bring that up to code because of the stairway. You know, if worse comes to worse, you could use that just as storage and not have to do that, so you could reduce the price. I think one reason, there's, like I said, many reasons to save it. One reason is to show the citizens that y'all take care of your own stuff. I know how you go out and to other people's property and want them to keep it up. I think fixing this property up would, you know, show the citizens that you take care of your own stuff. I think the youth needs it. They have to go out of town to have a prom. I think it's kind of ridiculous. And one very important thing is, reason I think you should keep it is because it was a gift. It was a gift from Graham, and as he had gifted many things, and to me, it's not a disposable. It should have been kept up a long time ago, but it's kind of a slap in the face just to take somebody's property, say thank you, and not take care of it. I know my family gave the money for a pocket park here in town, and you know, it was just supposed to be something simple. Well, a few of the councilmen got involved in the engineer, and next thing you know, a $35,000 project was $350,000. They wanted a fireplace and a coffee shop and everything else. So rather than spend that kind of money, it's vacant down there, wasting away. So it kind of hurts when you know, you give somebody something. It's kind of like, I guess, getting socks for Christmas, you know, and throwing them over your shoulder. It just kind of says, you know, that you don't really appreciate stuff. So I think you really need to try and save that building. And as far as Laramore's buying it or whoever buying it, there was also a question of whether if it changed hands, then everything would have to be brought up to code. We were told at the time that if the city kept it, then, you know, some things would be grandfathered. As far as the parking, it's just about gonna have to be either a city deal that, because they had an agreement with the school to use their parking, or if you could partner with the school and maybe them use it. But as far as an individual, I don't think you could. I think they'd have to meet a lot of codes that they couldn't if it changes hands. That's my 2 cents. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Stott. Appreciate your comments. Are there any other comments today?
Yeah, I hate seeing it in that,
Please.
that condition. But I've not had one phone call from any constituent, one way or the other about it. Not one, so.
Me either.
And I hate to, you know, I gotta agree with her. I think the time has passed. It's too far gone. The failure of the past councils and mayor, now it's on us. So, should have been done then, just like the drainage should have been done back in 40 whatever from the past councils. So, I mean, it got kicked down, the can got kicked down to us, but I think we're at a point now that, and for us to tear it down, for someone to buy the lot, let them tear it down. Why are we gonna spend the money? If someone's gonna buy it to build something else, that's on them to tear it down, not the taxpayers. Because I agree, if tax money's gonna be spent, then it should be to fix it. But I don't know if, I think we're past that point though, I'm afraid. I hate that.
Do we have any idea approximately now what it would take to even bring it back up to code?
17, 18, 19, 20.
Are we talking,
No, we don't have any idea.
we talking close to $1 million or something like that probably?
We don't, I'd be hard pressed to say,
I would
to
just
say a
wonder.
number, you know?
You haven't had a chance to look at it, Mr. Pryor? Okay.
One of the problems you've got with that lot is it's a great lot, is that the
It'll be over that now.
setback requirements, the parking requirements and everything that we have in our code book, it's gonna have to be a very small building. You know, that if somebody develops that corner, you know, let's say if somebody wants to come in and develop the corner, in order to make it viable, they're gonna need to buy out, the place right there, there's a place right there that where storage is kept, then they're gonna have to buy out that little bitty mini that mini center back there. You know, that's what's gonna have to be bought out, because from those two different individual owners, in order to make this thing viable. Just to be able to, somebody to buy it, it's gonna have to do all that, because they can't build on it the way it sits. Now, I think one other thing is we've asked for, I don't know what for Main Street program to give us, if I remember right, a study of what to do with it, and maybe they'll give us some kind of idea too to do with it. But I think it's gone. I think I don't think, we could look at leaving some of the walls up and leaving the patio to make some kind of thing, but the inside of it is so bad, and it is a health hazard. It's gonna cost us a lot of money. I disagree. I think we force people to tear down properties. We got one on here. I think we do the same thing for the city property, because it's in that bad a shape. Just had the council, and I was part of it, voted not to do it, and I'll go back and find out when we first bid that roof, and I'm gonna say that was probably in 2005. What that was. I'll go back and see if I can find the bids, 2005, somewhere around that time frame. But we'll go back and look and see, and so we're at this thing. So I just think it's that bad a shape, and I think it's just, but again, I'll say if we do tear it down, we need to save those artifacts that's in there, especially that deal for Castle Theater that is, and I think, Mr. Powell, have you seen that?
Yes.
Yes, he's Mr. Powell, and I've seen it up there too, so yes. So, anyway, we ask, and we drink coffee in the mornings, a bunch of us drink coffee in the morning, and we've asked some people up there at the coffee shop, we really had no input on it. none whatsoever. They really don't care.
Either way.
You know, their philosophy was, the city tore down a good PAC center, early sixties, you know, over across from the junior high, okay? And the school tore down a good gymnasium,
I've heard more talking about the gymnasium.
and so, and there was no outcry for that, so, anyway, that's where we're at with this stuff. Anyway,
Thank you. Thank you for the discussion. Thank you, Mr. Stott, for your comments. Other discussion? Hearing none, we will move on. Item F, discussion and possible action regarding accepting and awarding the lowest and best bid for Cemetery Street Rehabilitation Project to be paid from Cemetery Care Fund 19195-5412. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion Ketcher, second Smith. I'd ask Mr. Powell if you could come to the microphone and,
Well, we need to put, we need to amend the motion as to who it is, and then
We were asked by the mayor to
we need to
try and accomplish getting the roads on the old cemetery, the cemetery on the north side, which is Fairview Cemetery,
who awarding the bid to.
repaired prior to Memorial Day. And in that vein, we put out a bid for competitive bids with the proviso that one of the items was if you can get the job done by May the 28th of this month, which is prior to Memorial Day, there was a $5,000 line item in there set aside for getting that done by that point in time. We did receive bids on May the 3rd, which was yesterday, for this, the improvements. The estimate for the proposal was $93,000. We had 3 bids, the lowest of which was at $54,840 from Boss Contracting out of Tulsa. Excuse me. I talked to them this morning, told them that they were the low bidder, asked them if they hoped that they were interested in meeting the May the 28th deadline. They fully expect to do that. So in that, continuing in that vein, we have brought to this council the idea of awarding the contract to Boss Contracting, initiating the authorization for the mayor to enter into, on behalf of the city, to enter into a contract with Boss Contracting and signing a notice to proceed, which will be presented to the contractor tomorrow. I will hand carry that to their offices. If they sign all of the contracts, then we will give them a notice to proceed on or before tomorrow as their starting date. They will immediately begin to get their bonds and begin to mobilize to get this project done. They believe they can do all of the roads with the overlay in less than a week. So we've got a little bit of time to do that, but we want to try to give them as much time to get it done before the 28th. So unless there are some questions about what we're doing, why we're doing it, or
I think we'll need to amend the motion, but I've got a couple of questions the way the bid packet was structured, okay?
Okay.
All right. You made the statement that we're gonna give them a $5,000 bonus if they get it done prior to that, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, my question is, to the city attorney, $5,000, anything over $2,500 requires council approval, okay? So, before we went out for this bid packet, should the council approve that $5,000 bonus?
We can do it now.
I would say, because it should be a line item, you know what I'm saying, because,
How was it put out, Steve?
It's identified as an allowance, not as a bonus. It's identified as an allowance in the bid proposal.
how would,
We do allowances for a lot of things, but it was, that you only get the allowance if you meet the requirements of what that allowance is.
there's a question about the allowances. Are there any other questions?
I think that if it's, again, I think that these are the 2 line items, but I think you'll need to amend the motion. The motion would have to include the bid and the lowest bid and for everything else. I think
Let's let Mr. Ritchie review that.
Steve, just for the record, can you tell us the names of the other bidders?
I
and
certainly
bids,
can.
please?
Boss Contracting out of Tulsa was the low bidder. Second low bidder was Ellsworth Construction out of Tulsa. They were $61,040. Dunham Asphalt Services out of Sapulpa was $64,655, and they all accepted the allowance with the intent of attempting to beat the May 28th delivery. That, the number that I'm quoting you includes their $5,000 allowance.
So the motion does need to be amended to include the name of the low bidder and the amount of that bid, so that we're awarding the contract to that bidder at that amount and authorizing the contract.
Council, you've heard the city attorney's recommendation. Is there a motion to amend?
Motion to amend.
Second.
Mr. Ketcher and
Nope.
Mr.
So you don't
Smith?
think we need to do anything other on the allowance?
No, not on the allowance. We're good. That's the way it was bid.
Did you second?
Even though our charter says what it
I
says,
thought you seconded it.
5,000?
It's an allowance item
I
in
amended
the
my motion.
bid package.
Motion to amend,
And second.
and second. That's Ketcher and Smith. Other questions?
And this is coming from that, how much money is in that fund, in that account, do we know?
I do not. The budget was identified as, we
I'm sure we got
estimated at 93,000.
We
I was
have,
gonna say, I wanna make sure everybody understands, we know we got plenty of money.
Yeah.
yes, sir,
Yeah.
there's plenty of money in that account. If you'll stand by, I'll find it. That is the number 19 account.
I know there's plenty of money, but I want the public to know that too.
The total fund equity is $145,801.45. Any other discussion? Mr. Powell moved very quickly on that. I want you to know how much I appreciate that, doing that. So, hearing no more discussion, we'll call for vote.
Nance,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Breakfield,
Yes.
Trammell,
I'm going to abstain, because I have some issues with the 5,000. Even though Mr. Ritchie said that, I think our charters, I'm just still not clear on that. I'm going to abstain on this. I'll vote no, just change it to a no vote. But I still think, even though I want to get it done, I have to go back and look at that on my own mind.
was it a no?
No.
Thompson,
Yes.
Ketcher,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Motion carries. We'll move on to item G, a few updates. You have in your packet an explanation regarding the Recovery Act, the American Recovery Act, and I want to be sure that there have been some conversation going around about that, and it is purported that we are going to receive somewhere around $1,500,000. It's supposed to be distributed to us in two deposits. One would come sometime during the month of May or June, and the other would come during the year of 2022. So we're not sure when that will arrive. I have a tendency not to want to count on it until it does arrive. But that's an update about that. That is, federal monies would come to the state would distribute the monies to individual towns. All over the country, each community in the country has been assigned an amount, and that's based on population density. I believe our county has also been assigned an amount. So I thought that Mr. Allward did a good job in the newspaper of reporting that. Thank you, sir, for doing that. Anyway.
Can I tell you what I know about that?
Sure.
Okay? And it is true, you're gonna get that $1.5 million is probably gonna be a good account. When you go, I encourage everybody to go pull up this website and put in Hoot Owl, Oklahoma, okay? Hoot Owl, Oklahoma is scheduled to get money. Grand Lake Town is scheduled to get money. there's a lot of these communities that are scheduled to get money that don't meet the criteria. And so Oklahoma Municipal League has been extremely involved with this process, and, you know, they're our body. And so we've sat down and we've all talked about this thing, about this money, and where the extra money, if they don't use it, where it's gonna come from. I will tell you that probably on May the 10th, my understanding, we'll know exactly the amount that we're going to get, okay? That's the date that we've been told, and it will be coming out in revised numbers. They're looking at revised numbers. Now, you have to submit an application for this thing because this is 100% auditable money, and this can be, you go in there and look at it, you see what it can be used for, not used for. It can't be used for certain items. You'll identify a project. The project will be approved by the state. Once you do get the project, then once you do it, the problem of it is it's a reimbursable account, so how many towns has $1.5 million? They give you $750,000 or whatever it is to do up front. You know, you gotta have that other half of the money. So there's some issues with that, and we brought that up. But I say that to say that that money will be here. There's a strong possibility, and I'm gonna say a strong possibility, that the state's gonna match. So it could be a whole lot more than that. So it's gonna be crazy. So we need to.
The point is, none of that's been defined.
But it will be May 10th. But my point is that we don't need to get a hurry. We need to just start looking at projects we wanna do. I think we need to submit projects to the mayor for this money because I think it's a great example. I think this is a great example. If you had $1.5 million, if we all come up with 3 projects, give them to the mayor, say this is our 3 key projects for the city of Pryor, we all team, I think that'd be great for him to do. I've got what I think that need to be done, and the North Elliott Street drainage is one of the projects you could possibly do. So, but there's other projects. So I say that to say, we just need to identify these projects and go forward. And it's not just for it's all for the city. It can be included on MUB also, if we want to use it on MUB, because MUB has a real infiltration problem out there on Dog Pan Road. So I stay on top of this in the Oklahoma Municipal League, and I'll continue to stay on top of this with them. So I just want to offer you what I do know, and we'll go that way, because I think there'll be more money. But if you plan for a project, you may not get more money. So we just need to, again, be patient.
Yeah, any of our citizens will be able to go to the Oklahoma Municipal League website.
That's right.
and click on the American Rescue Plan Act, and you'll find the updates that are available there.
You see, Adair's gonna get, Slide's got 254,000, Locust Grove, Adair got 250-some thousand. It's identified by city. Hoodout's one you wanna look at, though.
Population
54,000. So.
Another update that I have, there's Pink, Oklahoma. We should look at that as well.
Yeah, I never thought about that, but you can look that up.
That's down there by Norman, just in case you're wondering.
Okay.
The Emergency Center and Library Project, that is, you can tell that is underway. There's a projected occupation date of those and a finish date, and that would be September of 2022, if all of our processes stay intact and they stay running smoothly. That's an update that I have on that item. The museum space that we have talked about for the Painted Pony and the other art, that is underway and with design. I don't have any numbers on that yet, but I should have some numbers on that by next meeting. That concludes my few updates. Item 5, we'll move on to City Attorney Report. Mr. Ritchie.
Item 5A is a second and final reading, discussion and possible action approving ordinance changing and amending zoning classification from AG agriculture to CAR commercial, automotive, and recreation of the property described as set forth in the agenda.
Is there a motion to waive the second?
I'll make that motion.
Make a motion to approve and waive the reading.
Motion Chitwood and a second Trammell. Discussion. Call for vote.
Smith,
Yes.
Chipwood,
Yes.
Brakefield,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Ketcher,
Yes.
Shropshire?
Yes.
Nance?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 6, this is a discussion possible action on consent agenda. Item A, approve minutes of the April 20, 2021 council meeting. Item B, approve payroll purchase orders through May 14, 2021. Item C, approve claims for purchase orders through May 4, 2021. Item D, acknowledge receipt of deficient purchase orders. Item E, discussion possible action approving Mayor Lees and Kerry Raritt, Library Director, to sign agreement for 2021 state aid recipients and acceptance of grant funds for the Thomas J. Harrison Pryor Public Library in the amount of $10,142 from the state of Oklahoma 2020 Oklahoma Department of Library State Aid to be received into Library Special Cash Account 92000423. Item F, discussion possible action authorizing Pryor Main Street to close South Adair from Graham Avenue to Southeast First Street on May 27, 2021 from 4:30 to 8:30 p.m. for a red, white, and blue bash. Graham Avenue will not be closed. Item, excuse me. Item G, discussion possible action regarding correction of Scrivener error on January 19, 2021 council agenda from item 6K. Account number should have read 2019 bond project expenses, Whitaker Park restrooms account 787855801. Item H, discussion possible action regarding hiring Matthew Bryant as B operator at the Pryor Creek Street Department at Range C, Step 1, annual wage $30,834, effective May 5, 2021. Item I, discussion possible action regarding change order number 1 for drainage project at 3rd and East Manor. Item J, discussion possible action regarding agreement with Terracon and Geophysical Services at the Pryor Creek Public Swimming Pool at the cost of $3,350. Item K, discussion possible action regarding Pryor Creek Police Department accepting the Oklahoma Highway Safety Office grant in the amount of $19,843. This is a reimbursement grant that will pay overtime for officers to target traffic violations, including speeding and red lights in the city of Pryor Creek General Fund, police overtime account 02-215-5013. Item L, discussion possible action regarding accepting wage record service at the lowest and best bid in the amount of $2,600 for demolition of property at 144 Northwest 477 Lane. Other bids received, Sheldon Smith, $3,795, Hanson Dirt and Demo, LLC, $4,800. These are items on the consent agenda. Are there items which council would like to remove?
Is Mr. Bryant here tonight with Street Department?
Is Mr. Bryant with Street Department here tonight?
He had to step out.
Okay.
Mr. I don't think Brianna was here last time, was she? For the approval of the minutes, were you here the last council meeting, Brianna?
No, you weren't.
Item A,
Item I, and item J.
You were correct, sorry.
item A, item I, item J. Are there others? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve all items that were not taken from the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion Ketcher, second Smith. Call for vote?
Chitwood?
Yes.
Breakfield?
Yes.
Trammell?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Ketcher?
Yes.
Shropshire?
Yes.
Nance?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item A, approve minutes of April 20, 2021 council meeting. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion Ketcher, second Smith. Call for vote.
Breakfield?
Abstain.
Trammell?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Ketcher?
Yes.
Shropshire?
Yes.
Nance?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Yes.
Oh, pardon me.
Sorry, Chitwood.
Yes.
Item I, discussion possible action regarding change order number 1 for drainage project at 3rd and East Manor. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion Ketcher, second Chitwood.
There's no dot, there is no.
We need to table that. It's not ready yet.
Yeah.
Like to amend my motion to table.
Motion to table,
Okay,
And I second, amend my
amend your second.
Yes, sir.
thank you.
Very good. Motion to table, call for vote.
Trammell,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Ketcher,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Nance.
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Chipwood,
Yes.
Wakefield,
Yes.
Motion carries. Item J, discussion and possible action regarding agreement with Terracon for geophysical services at Pryor Creek Police, a public swimming pool at cost of $3,350. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion Catcher, second Smith.
Account number. No account number listed. I'd like to see account number put on there. What are we gonna take it out of?
Mr. Trammell,
Yes.
that will come from General Outside Services 02-201-5075.
Can we include that in our motion, please? I don't care what kind, so we just, to me, it needs to.
I'll amend my motion to include the account number.
Second.
02-201-5075.
What would we do without you?
A whole lot.
We'd already be home.
You'd already be home.
Is there any other discussion? Call for vote.
Thompson,
Yes.
Ketcher,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Nance,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Chipwood,
Yes.
Wakefield,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 7, committee reports, budget personnel. Brakefield,
Nothing really to report, just that our next budget meeting is May 11th at 5:30 here.
y'all
And
come.
We're gonna be meeting with Coker.
Excuse me.
All right. Item B, ordinance insurance, Ms. Shropshire.
Not at this time, we got some stuff in the works, but not.
Item C, street,
Nothing at this time.
nothing at this time. Item 8, unforeseeable business. Do not know of any. Item 9, adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Motion Catcher, second Smith. Call for vote.
Ketcher,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Nance,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Chipwood,
Yes.
Wakefield,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Motion carries. We call to order Pryor Public Works Authority. Item 2, approval of minutes, April 20, 2021 meeting. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion Catcher, second Nance. Call for vote.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Nance,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Chipwood,
Yes.
Wakefield,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Ketcher,
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 3, there is no unforeseeable business. Would anybody like to
Motion.
jump the gun on Catcher to vote?
I already did the motion.
It's already in.
Motion Catcher.
Second.
Second, Smith, or Nance, was it Nance?
I did, but
Nance, second. Motion, call for vote.
Nance,
yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Chipwood,
Yes.
Wakefield,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Ketcher,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
We are adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.